Realtor, and join me as we head to Coolidge, Arizona to check out the Casa Grande Ruins National Monument based off the Hohokam and the Anasazi, as we take a deep dive into American Aboriginal, Indigenous, American Indian history. Stay tuned. All right, you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ben Kensington. I am a licensed realtor in the state of Arizona with eXp Realty and Kensington Properties. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and definitely hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I drop a new video. Okay, so we're cruising through Casa Grande and we're headed to Coolidge, right? Coolidge, Arizona is right on the border of Casa Grande. And these areas, okay, the Casa Grande Ruins and National Monument, these areas were once ruled by the Hohokam and, of course, the Anasazi. Okay, these were indigenous, okay, indigenous Aborigines that ruled this land, not what you see now, Native Americans. They came after. Native Americans that you see now today actually came from Asia, okay, from Siberia, the Mongols, the Tartars. They came around from the 12 to 1400s from the Pacific Ocean. They had bigger ships than the Spaniards, okay, and they settled and went to war with a lot of these tribes, okay, and it's in the Mayan Codex. It will be explained here with videos from Medicine Man as well, okay. Credits to Medicine Man on the future videos, okay. These are my videos here that I shot when I went to the monument, okay. Lots of history here, lots of history in southern Arizona. Okay, remember when they came west, right? Spain ruled this entire west coast once they conquered it. All right, so Spain, first the Mongols, and then Spain, and then you had all-out war until the west was won. All right, I'll be back.
The Anasazi, 900 to 1350 CE. In the American Southwest, the Anasazi managed for a time to successfully irrigate and farm the challenging desert environment. They also engaged in extensive road construction and turquoise mining and trading. A combination of climate change, environmental collapse, and hostile invaders most likely explains the abandonment of their early population centers. Their descendants were the cliff-dwelling Native Americans encountered by the Spanish, who called them pueblo, meaning village.
All right, you guys, that was a little bit of background history there by the Medicine Man. I'll put the link in the description to the Medicine Man's channel. Thank you for that video. All right, so the National Monument consists of the ruins of multiple structures surrounded by a compound wall constructed by the ancient people of the Hohokam period who farmed the Gila Valley in the early 13th century. Archaeologists have discovered evidence that the ancient Sonoran Desert people who built the Casa Grande also developed wide-scale irrigation farming and extensive trade connections, which lasted over 1,000 years until about 1450 AD, which is after the death of Christ, AD. All right, Casa Grande is Spanish for big house, okay? Now, what I want to talk about is the people who dwelled here were not what you see now, the Native Americans. What you see now, the Native Americans, which will be explained in further videos from the Medicine Man as well, and historical facts. Okay, so the Native Americans now are from Asia. They are Mongolians, Mongols, and Tartars from Siberia, Asian area, that they came in the 1200s to the 1400s or so, all the way up to the 1500s from the Pacific, through the Pacific Ocean, and settled all around the West Coast, all the way down to South America and Peru. Okay, now they did not dwell in these dwellings, right? They say until 1450. Around this time, there was a lot of war with the Mongols, the Aztecs, the Mayans. It's in the Codex. You guys can read it in Mexico. You can go to their museums. You can read their textbooks. Everything is there out in the open. It is very different from your American social studies books and your language arts. Okay, those books were written way late in the 1900s and were given to you based on British colonial history, colonial American history. Remember, Spain, it was the late 1800s before the complete Louisiana Purchase, until the Sooners came, until the 40 acres and a mule, when they imported the Irish, the Italians, the German, the French, told them, head west, go fight the Indians and take as much land as you can and go settle. The settlers, the gold rush, the old west. Okay, because Spain did not go to war with a lot of these other Indian tribes that were left over, which were mostly the Mongols, in areas like Wyoming and Utah and Colorado. A lot of history is still left here, right? Which we see here in Casa Grande, which goes back to the Anasazi and the Hohokam. Okay, so rich, deep history. Okay, I've been to the Valley of Fire in Nevada, the Red Rocks in Nevada, all the way up to Utah, Colorado, California. I've seen all the hieroglyphs, right? I love history. I love to study it. You guys seen my previous video on San Xavier del Bac, which featured Estebanico, the African Moor, who came with Cortez on his conquest to the Dominican Republic, which was the island of Hispaniola. They went from Florida all the way to Tucson. Esteban stopped in Tucson. There's a park there named after Estebanico, the African Moor. He was the first explorer of the U.S. Okay, so I have all that history. I went to the El Presidio as well in Tucson and interviewed some of the historians and the workers there who know the entire background of southern Arizona, who confirmed a lot of the stuff that's already out there and it's known. It's there in the museum. It's there. The history is there in Tucson. It's here in Casa Grande, all the way up. You've seen Montezuma's castle, where Montezuma was possibly hiding gold. There's so much history, especially indigenous and native history, right? There's so much history to be learned and to be talked about. You just got to go read, pick up a book yourself and go study, go check out the museums, talk to a lot of people and do the research yourself to educate yourself. But I'm going to jump into another video from the Medicine Man, which is from the History Channel, that talks to the natives from Mongolia about these Anasazi. All right, you guys. So I'm back at it, and just want to give a little background for myself. From my mom's side, my mom is Blackfeet Nation tribe and also Cherokee. Okay, they were descendants from the Mississippians, the mound builders. Okay, so I have a history myself that goes back to my great grandmother, who was born in the late 1800s. They were actually sharecroppers. They owned a lot of land in Mississippi, which they just sold back in around 2015, 2016-ish. All right, so I have history myself as being an American Indigenous, Niji, whatever you want to call it. But anyways, guys, this is just history. We like to bring up facts. Okay, we like to bring up historical texts as well to back up a lot of these facts. Okay, now, as you saw before, as we all know, right, the 1400s and prior, we know the Mayans, the Aztecs, we know who built the railroads, we know all of that stuff, right? There's so much history to be learned. I love history. I'm going to keep bringing it to you guys from time to time as I go across these museums and check out a lot of these places throughout the Southwest. So I've been going for years, guys, since I was a kid. I know all about the Old West. I know all about American Indigenous history, Native Mongolian, and Mongolian history as well, from them coming to the Americas and settling in, and also current history here in Arizona, current, which I would say in the 1900s to the 1960s as well. You guys seen my video I did on the wildlife in Arizona with the histories of the jaguars, right? Which goes back to the movie The Black Panther. Wakanda is actually here in America, okay? It's an actual city in the United States. You have to go watch that video as well. So the history all ties in, right? I don't know why America doesn't teach us the facts and the factual history and the real story behind what happened. I don't know, but like I said, you can always do the research yourself. You can always go pick up a book yourself. There's libraries all over the world that are open that you can actually get online. You can get copies of those books. You can get the digital version, right, of every book that is out there in the world. So you could get the history from Canada from the 1500s, the history from South America from the 1500s, the history from Mexico from the 1400s, even 1300s, up until the 1900s. You can get the history, a lot of the history from Asia from the 15 and 1400s, 1300s. You can get the history from Spain about the Moors that ruled Portugal and Spain all the way before the conquest to the Americas. All that information is out there. And I'll tell you this, it's completely the opposite of what your history is being taught here in America. Okay? It is completely the opposite. Lewis and Clark did not discover the West. They just came and went with the Indians and went all the way across to the end. And, you know, a lot of people take credit for a lot of things that definitely they shouldn't be getting credit for. But I understand once you conquer an area, you tell the story yourself, right? Nobody can come correct your story. But over due time,
For more than 2 centuries, our forebears labored here without wages. They made cotton king. They built the homes of their masters in the midst of the most humiliating and oppressive conditions. Yet out of a bottomless vitality, they continued to grow and develop.